Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello, and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. My name is Shireen, and I will be your host today. So let me start by introducing our guest today, Basil Bassam, who is a former pilot for the Middle East's largest airline company. Made redundant from his position due to the unfortunate downsizing in the company because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But instead of being miserable, Basil picked himself up and decided to create his own company from scratch. The company is called Fix a Home, which specializes in home and office maintenance and renovation. The company managed 3 buildings and multiple homes within a year, as well as winning the MEA award for Best Office Renovation. Using the raised profit, he decided to open 2 more companies, S3 Consultancy, which is a full-service marketing agency, and a real estate firm called Breton Properties. What an interesting journey, Basil. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Hello, Shireen. Thank you so much. I love the introduction you just gave today about me.
It's quite a lot, and I'd love to tackle each thing and find out more. But let's start off with you just introducing yourself, giving us a recap on your background and your life here in the UAE.
Firstly, thank you for having me on the podcast today. Let me start off by telling you a little about myself. My name is Basil Bassam. I'm originally from Pakistan. I was born in Kuwait, but ever since I've grown up and I've come to my senses, I've been in Dubai. Since then, I've lived here, done my schooling here, university here, started my pilot career here, ended my pilot career here also, started my own businesses. And I think I'm going to be here till I can live, I guess, as long as I have my life ahead of me.
So you definitely love living here then. You mentioned your career. Let's talk about that. Tell me, how did you decide to pursue piloting and how was that whole journey for you?
I was young. I wouldn't say I started pursuing piloting. That was just a fate of luck, I believe, because I always loved traveling. We were the family that goes to the airport 5 hours in advance. I'm sure many people do that, but we would always be there checking in, always want to go and have food at the airport. I just love the whole aura and the vibe that the airport gives you. So always, I want to be something in that field. But being a pilot I never thought I could do it. Just one of those things that you see in movies and all that stuff. So what it is, after my schooling, I got into aviation field. I was doing BBA in aviation management. So luckily, one day I'm just walking down the university and I see a poster that says, become a pilot. I just thought it's a branding exercise or something. But then when I looked to it really, it turned out that it's not as hard as I thought it would be. So I had a chat with my father regarding it. And then he said, if this is what you want to do, go for it. Since then, since I was 21 years old, I've been flying and it's brought me this far, I guess.
So, Basil, I want to know more about your journey with aviation and what are some maybe funny stories that you could share. A lot of people always wonder, who's the man in that room that you don't get to see, but our life depends on him. So what experiences would you, if you could, share that were highlights for you?
Well, firstly, if you ever flew with me, you would definitely see me because I like to make sure I'm seen. So when you're walking in the aircraft, I will be standing there saying hello to you. I used to love doing that. Many people will be like, why is this guy standing outside? I like to see people. I like to interact with them. But aviation. Ask me anything that you want and I'll answer you. Be it the favorite place I've been, what we used to do in flight, after flight. I'm open to saying whatever you want me to say.
Well, I guess I wanted to know if you have any particular funny story that's happened while you were flying or a situation like that.
I was doing a flight once from Dubai to, I forgot where it was. I think it was somewhere in Pakistan. This is my old days when I fly from my other company. It was a flight from Dubai to one of the cities in Pakistan. On the way, I left the cockpit to go to the toilet in the back. One of the passengers came up to me and he's like, in my language, which is quite funny. He's like, hello, driver. I was like, yes. He said, since you're going from here to that place on the way, why don't you drop me off to my hometown because I will have to take a bus from that city. I did not know what to respond to him. And I was like, you know what? I will try.
Oh, that is pretty funny. Okay. And have you ever had a story where, well, not a story, I guess an experience where there was panic or it was a scary situation?
All right. I had a flight from once. It was me and another guy. We're both actually 2 pilots were Pakistanis and we're flying towards a destination in India. What happened is that we have these time restrictions and I don't know, a lot of different things with aviation. I don't want to get the details about it. We had a sick passenger on board who was actually flying to India to get a heart transplant. So we were very time limited for that. I mean, we knew that this person was sick, but we still took on board because she had all her certificates and everything. While flying towards India, she got really sick and we had to make a decision to do an emergency landing. But the issue that comes to this now is she was flying to another different city and she had a very short time in making it there. And once she makes it there, she has to go directly to the hospital. Due to her being sick, we diverted to another city in India because we couldn't make it there at that time. And now we had to decide that if we continue further, it's going to cause an issue for her. And then, her life is at risk. And if we divert, it might cause a delay for her to get that heart transplant that she really needed. In the end, we came to a decision that currently her life was in our hands and we need to divert. So we diverted it down to, I remember it was Bombay. We landed in Bombay and we made sure that the ambulances were there. And then hopefully the ambulance said they're going to take her in a helicopter to the airport destination that was further forward. She lived. It was a very tough decision to make, to either carry on forward or to divert and risk that young lady not living.
Wow, that's definitely a story for the books. That's something that you only see in the TV shows and movies.
It is. And I felt like when I walked out of the aircraft, I'm like, you know what? This was a Tom Cruise movie or something today.
Yeah. And I mean, that must be so terrifying in the moment to have to make a decision like that for someone else. What were the emotions that you felt during that whole thing?
It's nerve-wracking, because you have the responsibility on you. That's what we're trained for. That's what the whole job is. That's what we're paid for behind it, to make those tough decisions when someone else can. Because you can go to the family and you can ask their opinions on it. But of course, they're all going to be scared at that time. They're all going to want something different. So it's up to me and the other pilot to decide what to do. And we chose the best decision is because her life is in our hands currently. And we want her to live longer. So we had to make a diversion or we would have lost her en route.
Right. Okay. And is this something that the training prepares you for, or is this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Many people don't know that we have sim sessions every 6 months, and when they put us in a simulator, I'm sure you've seen it around in some places like in Dubai Mall or something, but this is an actual moving simulator. And every 6 months, they randomly throw scenarios at us, from an engine failure to fire on board to something that we don't know, to startle us and how we're going to react to it.
That's really great. And of course, you can never be prepared for everything, but it's good that you guys have that basic training for most of the worst case scenarios. And then I guess this is more of a personal question, because I want to ask, why are the microphones in the cockpit so terrible that when it says, this is your captain speaking, half the time we can't understand anything?
Because half the time when we are speaking on it, personally, I never liked doing the PAs. I thought it became very repetitive and boring. And when I fly, I always listen to someone doing it. And, you don't pay attention. Let's be honest. Do you pay attention when someone talks on the microphone?
No.
Okay. So we know that you guys don't pay attention. So when we're doing that, we're kind of doing something else at the same time also. And the mic is a little further away from our mouth. Hence the reason that you can't hear us that clearly. That's an insider tip. Don't spill the beans on me.
I mean, I've always wondered, I'm like, God, the annoying part is when you're trying to watch a movie or something and then you guys come on and you're like updating us. And yeah, I guess the information that you're sharing is probably quite important when you're announcing like a turbulence or something. And people are just like, do you mind? We're trying to watch the new Spider-Man movie here.
I know. That's why I always kept it very brief. And, quickly I shut up before you guys start, hating me for it.
Thank you so much for sharing those really interesting stories and giving us a little behind the scenes of the world of aviation. Because I feel like pilots, as you already mentioned, they do have a very luxurious life as our perception. But of course, there's so much on your shoulders because our lives are in your hands. And that's a very important responsibility. And of course, it's a lot of pressure, I'm sure.
Yeah, but everything has a give and take in life. You can't always have it the easy way,
Okay, very interesting. And now, what would you say are the challenges that are associated with being a pilot?
Every job has its pros and cons. Many people look up to pilots as they have this glamorous life. They're always traveling. They're wearing the uniform. They get to experience life, which is true. But then at the end of the day, the challenges that I faced with them were the timings. When you're in bed at 2 a.m, you're having a full rest of night. I would be getting up, getting ready for my flight. I'll be at the airport. You probably slept through the night, woke up, had breakfast, went for a jog, attended your meetings. But me personally, I would still be in that tube. And after a while, it does catch up on you. You start missing your friends' birthdays, your family events, because we are scheduled to fly any day, anytime, anywhere. So that for me would be the biggest challenge that I have in the aviation field. But since I was a young guy, it didn't affect me that much. But as you grow older into the industry, it would toll up on your life and your family life.
Absolutely. And that's something that I have heard from other people that I know who are pilots, that it kind of starts to dwell on you. Obviously, that kind of lifestyle, it's not for everyone and it takes a toll.
It is very tiring. People, if you do a 9 to 5, every day you're working for, let's say, 10 hours or 11 hours, but sometimes flights last up to 15 hours. Let's say if I'm flying from here to Auckland, it'll be like a 16-hour journey. That doesn't count the 2 hours before they have to be at the airport, 2 hours traveling to the hotel. So sometimes the whole day goes by and you're in that suit and tie, it gets very tiring.
Okay. And as I mentioned in the introduction, you were unfortunately let go by the airline that you were working with, and then you had to pave a new path for yourself. So what was that like for you?
Personally, I've always been a go-getter. I don't believe in stopping. So when I got let go, I don't remember correctly what the date it was. I think it was around 18th of June. All I remember was Thursday evening that I got an email saying I'm let go. I took Friday off and I took Saturday off. Sunday, I was sitting with my friends in their office and we were already discussing about what to do next because I do not want to look back. What's happened has happened. Now it's time for me to move forward. 2 days later, I was in work and I was starting my own company back then.
Did you go through the emotions of disappointment and being upset, or did you just accept what happened and decide and start to focus on the next thing?
Everyone deals with grief and emotions differently. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to express myself a lot, and I always try to keep myself busy with the next thing. I've had friends that were let go. Till now, they are sad about it and they don't want to move on from that, which is fine. Everyone accepts things differently. I've had friends optimistic about aviation picking up this year and they're going to get back into the job, which is also fine. Me personally, if something I have lost, I don't look back to it. I want to move forward and I want to continue on with my life. If that comes back to me, I'll be very happy. I would love to fly again. But I don't like to think that what's happened has happened. It's just time to move on. So it's easier for me in that way because I had great support around me and my friends and my family supported me and said, you know what? If one day opportunity comes back to you and knocks at your door to come fly again, if you want to take it, if you don't, continue on the businesses.
That's a really great mindset to have. And I'm sure that a lot more people didn't take it as well as you were they in the same position. But it's definitely very great to hear that you were able to take this disappointment and turn it around for yourself.
It was a motivation kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's talk about that. So you decided that you were going to do something about your situation, and that's how you decided to start Fix a Home. So tell us about your new business.
Well, Fix a Home is a facility management / renovation company. The reason why we started this is because of the pandemic. Now, I wanted to come up with something that no matter what happens, rain, storm, hail, pandemic, no pandemic, this service will always be needed. If your AC is not working in your home in the summertime, you're definitely going to call someone over to fix it. You're not going to sleep in the heat. Your house is in floods and leakage. You're going to call someone to fix it for you, pandemic or no pandemic. Of course, we take the precautions of the COVID, but at the same time, you're always going to be there. It's an industry which will never let go of. So I came up with Fix a Home. I started Fix a Home initially as a maintenance and renovation company. Now, I have a vision board for every single company that I run. My Fix a Home's vision board, there are 4 of them. Number 1 is a maintenance renovation. Next step is facility management. Number 3 is construction. And finally, I want to become a developer. So as you initially mentioned that we have already covered 3 buildings and multiple different apartments and houses. So I've already done with 2 of my steps in the first year. It's of the business coming up itself. We've already won an award for the best office maintenance and renovation company of 2021. And I believe there's a lot of scope in this industry, hence us stepping into this.
Amazing. And I mean, that's such an incredible thing to achieve within the first year of setting up. And it's so rare. So what do you think helped you get to that point and be able to win an award, all of that?
As I mentioned earlier, I'm a go-getter. And then when this whole being let go thing really fired me up, because when you're in the aviation field, you're very comfortable, you're paid very highly, you're traveling the world, you have different experiences. And I was in my comfort zone. I always knew that I wanted to have something of my own, but I didn't have that push towards me to go start something. After this happened, I'm like, this is a great time for me and I'm going to turn around for myself. I took the push and I started these businesses that are coming up now.
And I definitely want to talk more about your motivation and all of that a little bit down the line. Let's discuss your other businesses as well. So as I mentioned, you have a marketing agency called S3 Consultancy. Have you always had an interest in marketing, or was this like a new passion project?
Marketing in itself, I wouldn't say I've always had an interest on it. I just came to terms with the trends that are going on. You know how you figure out your hairstyle, how your fashion trend changes. Marketing and social media and being online is the get-go through the COVID situation. How I came up with S3 basically is because when I was doing Fix a Home, at the same time, I had investments with my friends in their other companies also. And we would always outsource our social media, our websites, our handling, our SEOs, our PPC, the whole marketing thing. And it was costing us a lot. So I thought, why not have something in-house where my people will do marketing for my company, and at the same time, I can get more clients to come in because I am marketing my product very well for myself. That's the reason behind the SE Consultancy coming up.
To touch on Breton Properties, am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, you are. Breton Properties.
Okay.
It's a type of a horse breed.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. So tell me about this business as well and why you decided to pursue the real estate industry.
Real estate industry in Dubai is always booming. There's always expats that are always looking to invest in it. But the reason behind for me to start Breton was, as I have Fixed a Home, I have S3, and I needed to complete the circle. The circle is going to be completed how? My Breton Properties is going to be marketed by my S3 consultancy. Once a property is sold, they are always going to need someone to manage the property for me. That's when I bring in Fix a Home, as the maintenance requirements are going to be covered by us in that home. So it's a circle of loop. You buy the property through me, I manage it for you, and then it's marketed through me also. Now, when you come to a point when you want to sell a property, again, you're going to come towards S3 because it's my marketing for me, and I'm going to sell it for them in the same journey. And when the new buyer comes in, I'm going to be facility managing their house also. There's a whole circle that I want to keep towards myself. I hope that made sense.
It makes absolute sense, and it's a very clever way of doing it. I have to point out that it's crazy that you managed to start all three businesses in less than 2 years. And I didn't mention this, but you started Fix a Home with a childhood friend. So you're not doing it alone. But at the end of the day, it must be an insane schedule that you have every single day to be managing all of this.
Luckily, I have a great team that works with me in every single department. It takes off a lot of load off me. But yes, it is tough because I'm not used to having office hours. I'm used to having, random shifts timing. So getting that structure in me coming in. But how I like to go towards the whole day is when I come in the morning, I jot down the things I have to do. And I don't leave the chair until I've ticked off, everything that I've done for the day.
So Basil, I want to touch on the point that I made earlier. I wanted to talk about your go-getter attitude and how you're so positive. So from your experience, if you could give some advice to other people who could have been in your position and lost their jobs and are currently feeling very out of place, not sure what to do, what would you say to them?
I'm not a great advice giver, but in the simplest form, I would say, I'm sure that if you're doing a 9 to 5 or you're doing any job, there's always a passion that you've had that, if I wish I had a little bit of more money, a little bit of more time, I would do this. Like me, I always knew that I wanted to start a business, but I just never had the time or the push. So now that you're let go of, yes, you can sit home and you can be sad about it for a week, a month, a year. It's up to you. Take a grief period. But after that, take it in that it's done. It's the past. Now look forward. Even if you don't succeed in what you're going to try, at least you can tell yourself that I tried. Now I'm running these companies. If one of them doesn't work, it's fine. At least I can say I took that leap. And I'm never going to look back and go like, I wish I did that.
I think that's the most important thing, is to just keep yourself motivated. And I'm a really strong believer that everything happens for a reason. And I guess I could use the prime example of that. You always wanted to do a business, but then you just never got around with it. You were comfortable in your job, but then something happened. And now look at you, like you're running 3 businesses and you're happy with what you're doing. And like you said, maybe one of them won't succeed, but you have finally done something that you've wanted to do. And there's probably a really good reason why all of this is happening with you. This is your journey.
I'd like to believe that's so also.
Yes. And then I want to know as well, like, what are some of your future goals and plans, or is there something that's happening next for you?
I'm glad you asked that, and you'll probably say I'm putting too much on my plate. My next step, which I'm already working towards, is I'm originally from Pakistan, and Pakistan is a developing country. So I want to tap into an e-commerce platform in Pakistan. So I'm coming up with the phone search, which is basically an online platform to buy, sell, trade, anything regarding your phones and your gadgets. It's a very niche market. Pakistan is a country with millions and millions of population, and every person has 3 to 4 phones. So you can imagine the numbers of mobile phones that get traded and sold on a daily basis. So yep, that is what's coming up for me next.
That sounds really interesting idea. I guess this is a brief on you and what you're up to, and thank you for answering that. And now we've actually come to the segment of our show where I will ask you a few rapid fire questions. So Don't freak out.
Okay.
It's just like a little game show. Yeah, I guess just whatever comes to mind, go ahead. And it's fairly simple. Are you ready?
Is it a one word or do I have to explain what I'm saying?
No. It's just like simple things like, do you prefer coffee or tea?
Okay.
Okay, let's start. A place that you've visited that you fell in love with.
If other than Dubai, I'm going to live anywhere else, it's going to be New York.
I've yet to visit, and it's definitely on my bucket list. An all-time favorite song.
I don't have one. You can ask me a genre, but songs, no. It needs to be slow and emotional.
So you like the slow and emotional music. Do you have a favorite artist?
Ed Sheeran is my go-to guy.
Okay. Do you have a hobby that you're passionate about?
No, I am more of an all-rounder. I mean, I love gymming. That's my thing, but I don't think it's a hobby. No hobby-related things.
All right. And the last one is, what is one thing that you do every day, no matter how busy you are?
I make sure I have time to go to the gym.
So you're very passionate about your gym and your exercising.
It's a stress buster. I mean, after working for the whole day, you need to get some time off for yourself. I put on my headphones and I work out. And I don't want to talk to anyone that 1 hour I'm in the gym.
Well, thank you for playing along. And just before we wrap up, let's do our green pill moment. So Basil, what was your green pill moment? The action or event that was the turning point for your career?
As we have spoken about all these things, the turning point for my career was when I got let go. I'm sad about it, but at the same time, I'm very happy because it's made me push my boundaries to a level that I didn't even know that I had. I mean, it's very tough to be running one company, but at the same time, I'm running multiple different types. Yes, it is stressful. And if you tell me if I could go back in time and change what happened to me, I'd say no. I would love to fly again because that is my passion. But if I do fly again, which I hope I will be running my companies at the same time, side by side, because business is something I believe that I was brought up to do. Looking at my family, my father, their friends, my other family members, everyone has been into the business field itself. And I believe I am doing quite well for myself. That's what people that work with me tell me, so you can ask them.
Okay, well, great. And it's been really great to hear your story and to hear your insights from your own experience. So thank you for that. I'm sure the audience is going to enjoy that as well. And before we say goodbye, could you share maybe some social media handles where people could find you or follow your business accounts?
Or sometimes on my own personal social media, which is at Basil Bassam. You can find me on Instagram, on TikTok. All my businesses, Fix a Home has its own social media. SC Consultancy has its own. Breton has its own. And the phone search will be coming up recently.
Great. Well, thank you so much again, Basil. It was really, really great speaking to you today. I wish you and all your new businesses and future businesses all the best of luck.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking out time and speaking to me.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.